watching Fox Local.
The Valley Church is in need of some help here after tens of thousands of dollars of equipment is stolen.
And the crime all caught on camera. Irene Snyder is joining us live with the details on this. Good morning, Irene.
Good morning, guys. Well, so sad for this church and for everyone involved. Now, this church is called the Table Church. It operates out of Arrowhead Elementary School, and they're hoping to get at least some or hopefully all of the equipment and stuff taken from the church here back in October, just a couple weeks ago. Now, this is off of 75th Avenue and Union Hills Drive, again at the school. Surveillance video from the night of October 26th shows an SUV pulling into the school's parking lot. A truck and attached trailer then left with the SUV following. The church's pastor tells Fox 10 more than $20,000 worth of equipment was inside the trailer at the time. That includes chairs, racks, and check-in tables. And with the value of the truck and the trailer included, the total adds up to more than $45,000. Services did go on the next morning and last weekend.
It didn't stop us that day. I mean, the church has been through a whole lot worse through the years, and this wasn't going to stop us. So we just pivoted. We set out fold-out tables. The school here has like these roll-out. They make tables, but they can also make benches. So kind of like we had pews.
The pastor also tells Fox 10 that his faith helps him find peace while this investigation continues. Anyone with information related to the theft of the table or anything else taken from the church is asked to contact the Glendale Police Department. We'll send it back to you this morning.
All right. Well, hopefully somebody recognizes some of those individuals or that truck and they can get that equipment back. Irene, thank you. ASU police are investigating a report of a sexual assault on the main Tempe campus. ASU police are investigating a report there. The victim said it happened early Saturday morning. Now, it is important to point out that she is not a student, but she told police a man she met at an off-campus party may have drugged her by slipping something into her drink. She later woke up on campus and believed she was assaulted while she was passed out. There are no details about the suspect at this time. If we get any new information about this, we of course will pass this along. A local flight attendant is recovering this morning after a hit-and-run accident.
It was last week in Old Town Scottsdale. He was driving for Lyft. Michael Cooper says it cost him his car, his income, and his independence. He has been kept from the flying here because of his health issues, so he's been driving for Lyft instead for income to make money to pay his bills. But an already hard year became even more difficult when another vehicle hit him near Indian School Road and Drinkwater Boulevard.
He's seen the guy come out, he's looking at his van, so assuming he's staying there, I'm staying a distance away. And while I'm on phone with the police, he drove off.
Oh no, police say the reported vehicle, a dark blue van, they say more evidence though is needed to follow up on this case. So if you have any information, please call the authorities. Meanwhile, Cooper was later taken to the hospital. He is just thankful today that his injuries were not more serious.
All right, turning now to some stories making headlines across the country. At least 11 people were hurt after heavy rain and tornadoes tore through portions of Oklahoma over the weekend. Around 100 homes were damaged across the state. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has declared an emergency for 6 counties suffering serious storm damage. More dangerous weather, unfortunately, expected later on today.
And all the new this morning, the music world has lost a legend. Quincy Jones has passed away, the longtime producer best known for his work on Michael Jackson's Thriller album, as well as collaborations with other stars throughout the years, from Frank Sinatra to Ray Charles. Jones also, if you recall, oversaw that star-studded charity record, We Are the World, where he was able to gather all of these different music celebrities together. His publicist, well, he says he died Sunday night surrounded by family. Quincy Jones was 91 years old.
Well, you decide. The presidential candidates are in a race to the finish ahead of tomorrow's election day.
And that day is just about here. Ron has more on the candidates' final push to sway undecided voters before polls open tomorrow. Hi, Ron.
Well, Florida is not really considered a swing state, but it is where Donald Trump hopes to celebrate a victory tomorrow night. Today, though, he is going to be active, going to 3 3 different states. In fact, we're in standby mode. We think his first appearance might be within the next hour to 90 minutes. Meanwhile, in Washington, rings of new security fencing going up around the White House and the Capitol, with 1 day to go till Election Day, just to make sure that everything stays safe. By the way, there's that one poll out of Iowa. Is it a new trend with Kamala Harris ahead? All the other polls show Donald Trump ahead in Iowa. We'll see who's right and who's wrong with that poll. Trump did win that state the last 2 campaigns, so is it an outlier?
I hope that we're able to take and have an honest, good election, a fair election, and I hope Trump wins it.
They tell me I'm down in Iowa. I don't think so. Our country is a crooked country, okay? It's a crooked country, and we're going to make it straight.
The Vice President, Kamala Harris, campaigning in the battleground state of Michigan on Sunday, tried to assure swing state voters that the vote will be fair. But as the early vote count numbers come in, and they're setting records in state after state, national polls signal this could be a fight to the finish.
There's a lot of independents that I've talked to that are leaning toward Harris. So I feel good. I do feel good about it.
They are good systems, and the vote of the people will determine the outcome of this election, and everyone must know that their vote is their power to determine the outcome of the election, and their vote will count. It does matter.
So among the swing state stops, both candidates will be in Pennsylvania today, underscoring the role that state is likely to play in the election. You just look at those maps, and it's hard to see either one with a potentially sizable win if they can't get Pennsylvania, guys.
Ron, thank you.
Sure.
Early voting officially over, but there are several polling places open today for emergency voting.
Yeah, it's for people dealing with issues that will prevent them from making it to the polls tomorrow on Election Day itself. So many of those will have early ballot drop boxes as well. You should check with your county recorder's office for locations and hours today. You can find that information on our website. Head on over to fox10phoenix.com.
Well, happening right now, ballots already turned in and they are being processed. We have a live look for you here this morning at the Maricopa County Recorder's Office. It is being streamed on the county's website, so you can watch at any point that you would like. It shows volunteers verifying some ballots, and we've seen something like this, of course, as you know, in past elections, but they will be counting around the clock. More than 40% of the 2.6 million registered voters have already sent in their ballots. The polls open tomorrow. Here's that live look for you. It has a couple of different camera angles. The polls open tomorrow at 6 a.m. They close at 7 p.m.
And with Election Day less than 24 hours away, it may come as no surprise that many people are feeling a little stressed. A new poll from the Associated Press Center for Public Affairs and Research found that 7 out of 10 Americans reported feeling anxious or frustrated about the presidential campaign. The nonpartisan poll also finding the same amount of people were interested in the election, and only 1/3 felt excited.
Yeah, so how is election stress impacting you? We do have an expert here in studio, Darina Bledsoe, a licensed professional counselor here to help us out. This is our safe space, Darina. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, this is a very stressful time for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. About 40% of Americans are reporting increased signs of anxiety and depression, all surrounding the election. So it is very stressful.
Darina, I know that a lot of anxiety stems from the unknown, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So what do you say to people? Because that's something hard to be like, no, don't worry about it. That's kind of hard for someone that suffers from anxiety.
Absolutely. The unpredictable is the biggest sign of stress when it comes to anxiety. And the other signs we want to look out for are things like feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, feelings of dread, doom, and intense fear. Those are all signs that are coming up. And so it's important to remember that we have coping skills, we have support systems, and we always have help available from professionals.
I'm glad you brought up the coping skills thing, because I think sometimes when we feel fear or anxiety, I've heard people say, I'm moving out of the country if so-and-so gets elected, or I'm going to sail the earth if so-and-so gets elected. I want to sail the earth. Can I? Just on vacation. Sure, not really. I don't want to leave this country. But I think sometimes we kind of, our children children are watching us go through that. What are some of those coping mechanisms that we can kind of use to ease that anxiety?
Well, when it comes to our kids, we have to remember we're the role model. So we have to be controlled. We have to make sure we're modeling healthy emotion regulation, we're expressing ourselves well. And so remember getting back to your hobbies, right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Go to the gym, get outside, talk about non-conflicting or safe topics.
During a win, maybe should you kind of self-reflect and be like, maybe I actually need some help from a professional like yourself?
I think at times it can be hard for us to say, I need help. So trust your loved ones, trust your family and friends. Ask them, how have I been seeming lately? And let them guide you. If they have worries about how you've been lately over this election period, let that be an indicator that it's probably time to go speak to a professional.
And there may be some times, right, where you need to leave the room.
Yes.
And take a deep breath.
Boundaries, big time.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, talk about those boundaries and making them in a positive way.
So I like to talk about boundaries in two ways. There's boundaries with others, right? So being able to walk away, take a breath, or say, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable right now. Let me just, call a friend, I'll be right back. And then there's our personal boundaries. Sometimes we have to set that boundary with ourselves and say, you know what, I'm doing too much. I'm overreacting, so let me take a break, take a breath, and cope.
Yeah, I'll phone a friend. I'm going to phone Dorina. She's our new friend.
Yeah, Dorina, put in your phone number.
Absolutely.
I also find like a lot of people do that doom scrolling, and I find myself kind of doing that too. You get down that rabbit hole, but you kind of sometimes need to smack yourself out of that, right?
Absolutely.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yes. Yep. That's that personal boundary. So when we start getting down that rabbit hole, or what's the new phrase, like brain rotting,
Yes.
right? When we're in that space, that's a time where we can set that boundary with ourselves and say, you know what, this is not helping me contribute to my own health. So let me get moving. Let me do the opposite of what I might feel like doing, which is sitting and doom scrolling, right?
Yeah, and maybe checking your blood pressure. If you
Yes.
have
Come
one of
on
those
now.
Go for a
machines at
walk
home,
outside,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Thank
check
you.
your watch.
Yes, absolutely. Dorina, if there's folks out there that want to contact you, how do we find you?
Through Evolved MD, that's the company that I'm associated with, where we have a large venue of behavioral health professionals ready to step in and help.
All right, good to see you.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you.
coming
Yeah,
in.
thank you so much.
Who did you vote for? No, I'm kidding. Don't tell me.
Did you see her face? She was
I'm
about
gonna
ready to
take
come
a
over that
boundary.
desk.
That was a boundary moment. Yes, that is a good. That
Thank
is
you
a
for
good
asking.
reminder, though. Yes,
Yes.
that means you voted, so I'm happy that you voted.
Absolutely.
Stick with Fox 10 here for continuing coverage when it comes to Election Day. We have live coverage beginning at 4:30 tomorrow morning. As we mentioned, those polls open at 6 a.m. all the way through the results here. We'll have it through 8 p.m. tomorrow night right here on Fox 10, Fox 10 Extra. You can also watch us on our YouTube page as well as the Fox local app.